Lewis Carroll's character Alice, whatever in 1870 or something, she encountered a very profound paradigm shift by going through a rabbit burrow or a looking glass or whatever, and what she saw on the other side. My entire take on this theme, this year's conclave of shifting mindsets is pretty much like Alice about a year back. I moved from the comforts of our market in India and started seeing the global world and actually started seeing what people actually are talking about there and importantly doing out there. And I think it won't be entirely wrong to say that even I've had a certain paradigm shift of sorts, and that's really what I want to, it won't be very new from whatever other people are saying, but I do agree with Ishan. There is, I think, the tyranny of establishment, and I'm going to try to question that a little bit. And I'm going to just try to put a few perspectives as to how maybe we're not that different from the West, and some of the practices that they're following is actually stuff that is, it's about time we started doing now. Here goes. 1 minute, let me just get this. Okay. First, the top line. If I have to give a one-line conclusion of what I see here and what I see outside, and that's really the West, the world when I call it, it's carpet bombing happening here versus drone strikes happening abroad. And I think the context explains to some extent. I think the first decade for us in this millennium has been one which has made us very profligate. I think marketers saw this entire 9% growth in economy. They saw their own top lines growing pretty rapidly for most of the first decade. And as a result, they suddenly started spending a fair amount without necessarily asking what are they getting in return. In contrast, the developed worlds for much of this decade have actually seen pretty challenged economies, even more challenged budget spends, and they've been also facing this entire problem of their brands getting commoditized in very, very fast. I think their expectations of media are a little harder. And I think therein lies some of the clues as to why they behave the way they do and we behave the way we do. But I think the point is that as we go now into the future, I don't think the same growth trajectory that India was on in the first decade, we're going to be seeing it. Right from 2008 onwards, you've seen a totally different sort of trajectory happening on that one. And I think it's about time we started asking for a bit more accountability. And at that point in time, the way we spend our money, I think there may be a case for maybe making more than just a tweak, but making some wholesale changes. Okay, let me also just put a qualifier in all of this. Even while we've been more profligate in this, I think it's also made us a whole lot more creative and a whole lot more risk-taking. I think there's a lot that we can contribute on this to the rest of the world, but for the purpose of this, since the idea is to gain from what maybe we can learn from the others, I'm going to limit it only to what probably we can learn from the West rather than what we can teach them. Okay, just laying the context. In the 25 odd years that media has really been around in an organized form, an independent form, whatever you want to call it, there've really been, I think, 3 phases that we've seen. The first was the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, where we really got into the hardcore, it was media planning. It wasn't nothing fancy. It was out and out, all about creating awareness for your brand. The game was all about reach, frequency, and GRPs and trying to optimize them to get the best result. There was the entire media plan followed by an innovation and sponsorship. So, it was almost like, this is my media plan, and now I'm giving you an innovation, sponsorship. Sam was talking about it earlier. Obviously, they had a role to play, but it almost seemed like an adjunct. Typically, there were 1 to 2 media used. There was mostly TV, print, and that's about it, maybe some outdoors, and not too much of that. Everybody was looking at it from a CPRP or cost per column centimeter, and this is the parameters that pretty much stayed right through the decade till early 2000s. Effectiveness, people used to talk about awareness planning, a little bit of awareness planning used to be done. People also used to talk about market mix modeling and ROI, marketing ROI, but frankly, not too much. Now come to the 2000s, the first decade. Suddenly we started finding that awareness on its own is not enough. And I remember I was in Mindshare then, and we used to have this interruption to engagement kind of conversation. At that point in time, it led to the birth of communication planning. Suddenly we had account planners coming into media agencies. We started talking engagement, and we started essentially getting into the entire consumer insight and activation idea. There was still reach frequency and GRPs, and now increasingly more, much more than in the earlier decade, SOV became almost a guideline. People were almost planning on the basis of share of voice. Suddenly, because of this entire communication planning game, we started talking integrated planning, and suddenly many more channels started appearing. So you started, radio made a big entry at this point in time, activation started coming in, content, and the role of content started coming into this. And to some extent, on the back of this integrated, there was talk of moving from multimedia planning with different metrics to a common CPM metric, which still is not being followed to date. Meanwhile, awareness planning stopped. Almost entirely, I would say it stopped. And marketing ROI was still talked about, but nothing much done. Importantly, and I think that's the important part, there's been a fundamental and strategically, there was a shift in the mind of moving from media planning to communication planning, and we really invested in that in the agencies. And we think we made a difference in the strategy part. But finally, when it came down to the media plan, it wasn't that different. We were still talking 80 to 85% going behind TV and print, and there was the odd radio, and maybe in some cases we were earlier 95, you maybe not, but about 5 to 10% started getting spent on other media. But nothing wholesale different. Then, of course, the last few years has been this digital era, so to speak. And now we've moved from a stage where digital not applicable to me. I don't think there's a single marketer who says that. Everybody says it's a must-do, but they're not very clear as to what to do in that. Everybody says, give me a strategy. Some people are more evolved than others, but end of day, it's also seen today, except for a few, as an add-on to a traditional plan. Search and display is somewhat sort of exploited, and the rest of them are just sort of being experimented with, and Neeraj was also talking about that, of trying to set up the entire experimental budgets on these kind of things. We suddenly started talking with a whole new lexicon of CPA, CPL, CPC, even before CPM became a metric. And now, of course, we've got paid, owned, and earned as a buzzword without too many people really knowing what to do about it. So, if I have to really look at the Indian media mindset over the last 25 years, we've really been operating from a broadcast mindset. In fishing parlance, we've really been spreading the net wide, hoping to catch in a few fish every time we throw the net out. The game has been about reach and salience. So reach, salience, and SOV, just making sure the brand gets seen at the lowest cost. There's a fair amount of premium that people are willing to pay. Make no mistake about it. There was some talk of it earlier, the quality, so to speak. And the quality or the premium is being paid for reach, is being paid for impact. It's paid for association by being seen amongst authority sort of symbols. And it is also some amount of premium being paid for something that can generate buzz. Everybody loves to see a campaign that is being talked about. They love it. That's almost a metric for success. On effectiveness and efficiency, one is actually put under an electron microscope in terms of how can we reduce prices further. But if effectiveness, hand on heart, is really given lip service. And digital has now reached the reckoning, but there's total confusion as to what to do with it. Now, with this background, if I have to really say this broadcast mindset, I would still go to the extent of saying, in India, it's still pretty much jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai, is the kind of thing that marketers are saying that we need to employ. Okay, now let's see what the world is talking about. When you go to the West, there's a lot of talk, and I'm talking about not niche talk. It is mainline, mainstream conversations as to how consumers are accessing content. And this is changing big, big time. You're actually reaching the stage where you're talking about with, all this OTT over the top kind of stuff. We're actually talking about the stage where consumers can really consume content anytime, anywhere. And I think that's a fundamental shift. I remember in the 90s, we used to say, if content is king, and I think Subhash Chandra said this, if content is king, distribution is God. Guess what? In the West, life's come a full circle. Distribution is no longer God. I attended in New York a Group M Next conference where they were talking entirely about this, and the entire bit about how not only are sort of platforms becoming sort of irrelevant, channels are becoming irrelevant, and now you're getting more and more about a situation where a person who's got a great piece of content can actually reach you straight away. So House of Cards is something which can probably reach you straight away. The Netflix, Hulu, all of these kind of phenomenons now are becoming mainstream stuff. Just think as to how far are we away from this. For people like me who've got teenage kids, I can tell you we are not far at all. My teenage kids have the same behavior as anybody in the rest of the Western world. This is also leading to, at a very, very phenomenal and exponential level, a fragmentation of reach. So earlier, what people used to talk about, just platforms, it's almost apart from live sport, almost everything else now is very difficult to get, at one point in time, big reach on. You've got ad avoidance, you've got ad blindness, you've got this entire time-shifting viewing, you've got a bunch of stuff which is across platform viewings. You can start a program on one platform, end it on another. So you're actually talking about a situation where reach per se, which is always going to remain critical for a media guy, is now becoming a luxury. In fact, it's becoming a scarce commodity. And the third thing which people are talking about big time is changing authority symbols. So earlier, if I wanted to be seen in the context of beauty, I had to be maybe in key publishing environments like Vogue or whatever it is, which stand for beauty. Now, what do you know? It's changed. You can go to publisher sites, you can go to blogs, you can go to even some streams of sort of collective group data which are talking about this particular thing. You can go to retail brands. I think the entire Burberry story is clearly one where a retail brand has become a fashion authority by what they've been able to do through their own assets. Now, these things are mainstream conversations. I think we only have to look at our own backyard to see it's not very far from when these can become mainstream for us. And so, the basic fundamentals of building the brand aren't changing too much. But it's only the way it's actually being done in the West has changed a bit. So it's reach. We started off with that in India. Of course, people are going after reach. Reach is again being chased in the West, but it's being aggregated across media. Multi-screen planning, and there was a panel on this a little while earlier, is happening there. And now, even though the metrics are not completely in place with experimentation happening, people are doing the experimentation. People are actually doing from TVRs to audiovisual ratings. People are moving from actually chasing content only on a print piece of a publication to paper, tablet, web, all of them put together. And they are actually, at least especially the UK, I'll say UK more than probably UK, Italy, even Spain. I'll see here in these markets a little bit more than the States, and the States is even they are doing it. They are doing it even without these so-called integrated ratings. So the point is, they've done the mental leap when it's come down to this. They're now paying the premium for audiences and context, but it's in a new authority symbols. I mentioned this earlier. It's gone away from just the premium that you used to pay to be seen in a particular environment. So, think about this. Spot plans or something which should have been 30 years back, where a brand manager comes and says, which are my spots and which is my spot schedule looking like? Now, you should have thought that over 30 years, when you're chasing reach, frequency, GRPs, whatever, that should have become redundant. Guess what? No. People are still saying, I need a 700 spot plan, and where are my spots going to be scheduled? Now, that frankly seems to me a very archaic notion. At this point in time, you are reaching a situation where you should actually be saying, why do I want that particular environment? And this is where the entire audience planning, and there was a question raised earlier. I think the audience planning is, rather than choose the context where you expect your audience to sit, actually profile your audience and just serve them the ad wherever the person might be. So it doesn't have to be that if I have to reach skinny people skinny girls who like fashion, you'll find them in Vogue. No, find the skinny girl who likes fashion because of her behavioral and attitudinal content sort of behavior on the web, and then place the ad on where she goes. And suddenly you find that your premium that you're paying for context is suddenly coming down, because now you're choosing the audience rather than the environment. On the effectiveness and efficiency piece, one thing you can't escape is price through procurement is even under more scrutiny if that was possible, so that doesn't change. But what has changed on the effectiveness side, even if, firstly, marketing ROI is respected a whole lot more in the West, no question about it. But beyond that, this entire precision targeting, and importantly, seeing what the value of targeting those people are in terms of valuing the outcome in terms of the revenue event that you generate by targeting a particular sort of audience, that is now taking on currency. And lastly, digital, I don't think there's any confusion. Most of these markets, they don't talk as sort of soul-searchingly in terms of where is the role of digital. I think they've crossed that. They understand that digital is an ecosystem play. They understand that I might need to take out, they understand that in the overall communication game, there is going to be some amount of context that I have to lay with paid media. There's an enormous amount of opportunity I have if I have some owned assets that people are actually being able to pick up my context that I've created through advertising and then take it to a new level of experiential stuff. I mean, if you have to go into what Jacko was saying, this entire part about whether it is the participative part of it, whether it's the coherence part of it, the relevance is built really by the advertising. But the coherence and the participation could very well come through your own assets. And coming from that finally is the piece where they come on to earned media, where they actually start then tapping it and seeing what you can actually get from that. And actually, it now moves from interruption to engagement to advocacy. You know, in all of this, I am asking all of us to actually fast track these three paradigm shifts. I think there needs to be a shift in the way we target people, the way we actually refer to the stream of marketing that's happening, all this Facebook, Twitter, all the entire ability to catch people on real time, and then the way we buy. These are three fundamental changes which I'm submitting that we need to adopt sooner rather than later. In targeting, right from, and again it came up earlier in the question answers, I think we've got to move beyond the demographic targeting into something which is much more behavioral and intent-based. And all the data is currently available. You also have to start thinking of now moving to audience planning. And you actually start thinking that rather than just going and going after a broad demographic target, if I can actually catch the same people, I will plan on the basis of getting audiences. So agencies who are right now actually trying to create differentiation could actually be an expert in finding out in the auto category and say that if I can get you 5 million audiences which are actually great for the auto, and this is how we've really profiled them and our ability to segment them on the basis of data available without sort of impeaching any privacy norms, I think that will be its weight in gold. It'll also be an opportunity for agencies to create that differentiation, which currently, like Karthi was saying, differentiate and we'll pay you a premium. So let's see if we can walk the talk and then get clients to walk the talk as well. The stream is something which I think is a very, very interesting area. Right from understanding, listening on it to just find out what the potential problems at individual and group levels are, from being able to find out the authority signals, what happened, and through authority signals, everything that you're doing on social and search, i.e. you've got to bring your costs down, you just got to make sure that the relevance and the entire kind of words that you're using in your entire syntax is something which actually makes for more relevant and easy search and social querying. And that'll actually bring your costs down. That the stream can provide. The stream also gives you a fillip for actually being able to mass scale your distribution of your advertising is something like we've just seen with the Google's 3.5-minute ad. I don't think that there's only so much that you can do with the TV time, with being what it is, even if you have the money to do it on TV. But then use the social networks to give a new leg to a distribution leg to your ad, and that's another sort of opportunity there. And not the least, social allows you, or the stream allows this entire opportunity to actually be able to ask for opt-ins and then start serving them some value-added stuff and segmenting and even start making it an entire revenue model for all of you. And finally, the way we buy. I think we've got to change the way from just doing placement buys or the way we've just been used to saying, I will buy on this particular spot regardless of the outcome, into much more of what we are calling programmatic buying, whatever, RTB, real-time bidding, or whether we get moving to audience planning or performance-based planning. So all of these, I think, is going to be stuff which is all predicated on data. And I think our ability to embrace these and make these three changes is going to see a fundamental shift in the way we actually, what we get out of this. Now, this is when I'm coming back from through the looking glass, I've come back into reality and say, listen, guys, does this really apply to India? Is this still Alice in Wonderland? Now, I think on this particular one, answer it with a question. And I think this is a serious question to ask. Today, are marketing budgets an investment to grow brands, or is it really a marketing manager's indulgence? Thank you. I can take some questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for questions. Kindly raise your hands and please introduce yourself before directing the question.
Hi, Vikram. Am I clear? It's audible?
Yeah, loud and clear.
This is Rajesh Radhakrishnan from Vritti iMedia. See, on the session, what we heard, the one key question which comes into my mind, which I think you can aptly answer, Vikram, is who is responsible for innovation? Is it the agency? Who is responsible for innovation? Okay, is it the agency or the client? I mean, whatever I'm seeing, a lot of changes happening. I mean, you're continuously bombarded by a lot of innovation happening in terms of medium.
And sorry, I'm answering that with a question, but why is that relevant?
No, innovation, I'm talking more from a media point of media and all the marketing innovations which are there to reach out to your TG. Okay, there are a lot of innovations which are happening in the market. Okay, in terms of reaching the TG. Who is responsible for innovating the media properties or reaching out to the TG?
No, I truly believe that an idea can come from anywhere. If you have to take a look at David Mayo's presentation earlier today, when he talked about that can, the Coke can, which you can split and double the happiness, half the Coke. Now, that could have come from anywhere. Probably it could have been a client idea, but then you give it legs and wings and let it fly when you have a bunch of stakeholders actually massaging that idea. I'd love it if all the agencies came out with ideas because I'm coming from there, but it's not realistic. It'll come from everywhere, and I think we should embrace that.
Any further questions, ladies and gentlemen?
You spoke about the fact that digital is an ecosystem and not an add-on to TV in one of your slides.
Yes.
Could you please elaborate a little bit more on that and how exactly it is an ecosystem that's differentiated from TV?
When I grew up, there used to be something called media mix. So there used to be TV, print, radio, outdoor, and then after that you had activation, and then these were the conventional ones. These are all mediums, and we used to say how much money should we put against each. Now if you start treating digital like a medium, then that's when basically it goes into a mess, because almost everything that you're talking about, TV, print, radio, outdoor, now mobile, the PC, all of them are mediums on which digital runs. So as you move into 4G, as you move into Internet of Everything, as you move into all of that, you'll suddenly find that digital is just the way we are. So there used to be an analog world, and now there's a digital world, so you just jolly well got to know how to navigate it. Now don't think of it as a medium. If you think of it as a medium, then I think you're losing the plot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have room for one last question.
Hi Vikram, right here. Slightly off-track question. Do you think BARC is a solution to all the ills, that is the so-called ills that are plaguing the measurement system in India right now?
I'm sure it isn't. Yeah. I think I don't think we should put that kind of responsibility on BARC to solve all of the world's problems here. No, now we'll have to be a little bit more specific than that, because we are hoping that BARC is going to actually, in its vision, Sam talked about it a little while earlier. Hopefully, it should be able to capture ratings tomorrow, whether it's even happening on a tablet or a TV or whatever. But it still doesn't solve all the measurement issues that media could ask for. Thank you.